guys, it's Kimberly and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the 7 books that I read in October. I do have one DNF, so we'll get into that. If you guys don't know already, I have been on a book buying ban for 3 months now. I have a goal for myself to finish all the books that are on my physical TBR by the time it's 2024, so I can go into the new year with a new set of books to read. I think I have like 7 or 8 books to get through. I also pre-ordered a while ago the first book in the Lakefront Billionaire series, which is Lauren Asher's new series. This one's Love Redesigned, I think it's called, and it's coming out next week. I forgot that I pre-ordered it. That's literally gonna get added to my TBR. Normally I do include my next month TBR in my wrap-up videos as well at the end, but I only have like a select few of books that I want to get through that I don't have like a specific one I want to stick to. It's gonna kind of just be mood reading, so that's why there's not gonna be a November TBR in this video. So without further ado, let's go over the books that I read in October. So the first book that I read in October was Final Offer by Lauren Asher. Can I just say that I think this series and just Lauren Asher in general to die for. I kind of want to read the Dirty Air series, but a part of me is just like, let's just read her upcoming series. This follows the third brother of the Kane brothers. This follows Cal and also follows Lana. Cal's task from his grandfather to get the inheritance from him is to sell the lake house. He didn't know that Lana owns half of it, so he's trying to convince Lana to sell it. She doesn't want to because she has too many memories with this house. She doesn't know about the inheritance, so you kind of see him trying to convince her throughout this. She doesn't like him because ended off on bad terms from their breakup 6 years ago. You also follow Cal with his alcohol addiction, and it's really intense, but it was so nice to read about him getting over it and working really hard, getting over his alcohol addiction to prove to himself that he can do it. Lana wants him to do it for himself. I rated this book a 5-star. It was a different 5-star feeling than Terms and Condition. That was also a 5-star, but this was just, it was so wholesome, and I really liked it and really liked the message. Really, I know this is like the thickest book in the series, but I think it was perfectly this long. If it was any shorter, it would have just fallen flat, and if it was any longer, it would have fallen flat as well. I loved it so much. Think about this book honestly a lot and how it made me feel. A lot of people say either Terms and Condition or Final Offer is the best book in the Dreamland Billionaire series. Nobody literally says the fine print. I didn't like that book. I think it's tied. I really don't know which one's my favorite. There's that. The next book that I read in October was Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I had this book on my TBR since like February. Alexis is older. It's age gap. She's older by 10 years. It starts off where she gets into this car incident and Daniel finds her side of the road and is trying to help her. It's a small town as well. Alexis, she comes from a family full of doctors and she has to just like make a name for herself, figure out what she wants to do, and she has this crazy annoying ex-boyfriend who works with her in the hospital. Daniel is all for being with her. They go on like these little dates. She just is not in a stable part of her life where she wants to be with him, and I rated this a 3-star because of how annoying it was. She was just not knowing what she wanted to do, kind of leading Daniel on. First of all, I didn't think that they had a connection in general. She always compared her ex-boyfriend to Daniel, and Daniel was the perfect book boyfriend, but she just somehow had to like twist it and just be like, well, Neil didn't do this. Neil didn't do what Daniel did. And I'm just like, okay, then be with Daniel. The ending kind of just happened way too fast after the 3rd act breakup. This was my first Abby Jimenez book. I do maybe want to read another one, but it's not like high up on my radar. This was a 3-star. The next book that I read was The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary. I rated this a 2.75 star. I was so excited to read this because the storyline seems so interesting. There's this girl named Tiffy. She's going through a breakup. She needs a new place to live, but she's on a budget, and she finds this flat share. She's going to share this flat share with this guy named Leon. He works the night shift, she works the day shift, so they never run into each other, but they share the same bed. They have just never met each other, and I thought that that premise was just so interesting to read about, and they communicate through post-it notes. But what really got me was, okay, they have each other's phone numbers though, so why are they talking through post-it notes? A lot of people were like, you'll never see a post-it note the same. Girl, I haven't thought about it, like, honestly. Another reason why I was very hesitant to read this was because the font size was literally so tiny. I don't even know if this is going to do it justice, but like, can you really? -500 font. I also didn't really like the writing style in Leon's point of view. Tiffy's point of view wasn't like the best thing in the world, but it was better than Leon's. It fell flat for me. I made that joke last time, sorry. I'm glad I got it off my TBR though, because if I didn't, it would be sitting on my shelf for a really long time. I recommend it though, to each their own with that. So I read all of these little romances and I want something different, something I know that's going to be a very different storyline than what I'm used to. So I decided to pick up Credence by Penelope Douglas. I've actually been reading this since the beginning-ish, middle-ish of summer. It's just been taking me so long to get into because I know the storyline is actually really weird. Tell me why. It's about this girl. Her parents died. She's not 18 yet, so she has to live with her only living relative. And her only living relative is her step-uncle. He takes her in and he has two sons, which is her step-cousins, Caleb and Noah. They have a connection with her. Like something goes down with all three of them. To search up the trigger warnings with this, I DNF'd this book. Such a weird storyline. It's stepcest, like, first of all, but so many people were like, it's really good and like you just gotta stick it out. It's just family bonding. Girl, what kind of family bonding? Okay, I gave up like 30% through. There was just no way I can sit here and read this and think like, okay, it's gonna get cute, it's gonna get really romantic, knowing that it's literally, they're related. Like, I tried. I don't think this is for me. If it's for you, then okay, to each their own. I DNF'd this. So then I was like, okay, maybe I need some romance to read. I decided to pick up Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. I rated this a 4.5 star. This is a small town romance and it follows Bree and Asher. Bree is going through a lot with the death of her mom and then the death of her dad, so she decides to just pick up her stuff and drive away. So she goes to this small town and literally within the first day of being there she bumps into this guy. She drops all of her stuff and she's like talking to him, but he's not talking back. She kept asking around the town like, who is this guy? Everybody said some like pretty negative things about him, like he's very closed off. She was so intrigued by it and she went to this lake that's near his house, bumped into him, and like it started from there. I think she really saw Archer for who he is. She did a lot of reassuring and validation for him that was just so nice to read about. This man doesn't talk. He can hear, he just doesn't talk. You figure out why and it's just very interesting. I think like when you find out why he doesn't talk, it kind of like makes more sense of like, okay, maybe he's insecure for right reasons, but just kind of like, okay, come on, get your shit together. I really, really liked this book and I hate Travis. So next I decided to pick up Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey. This is part of a interconnected novel with It Happened One Summer. I read that one this past summer. I really, really, really liked that book. I rated that like a 4.5 star and I was very excited to get into this one. I heard everybody liked this one a lot more. I would say that I liked It Happened One Summer way more than this one. I rated this one a 3 star. It was very bingeable. Like I was able to get through the book. I wasn't connected with it as much as I was with It Happened One Summer. I just wasn't enjoying it as much. This follows Hannah, which is Piper from the first book's sister, and also follows Fox, which is Brendan from the first book's like co-worker, one of his best friends. He's a fisherman. Hannah is like an actress. She's filming a movie in the small town where Fox is from. They're literally like best friends too, but she's like interested in one of her colleagues, so Fox decides to like give her some tips and stuff on how to get with the colleague or whatever, but really deep down he's like, actually I think I like her. I don't know, it kind of just, I could have like went my whole life without reading it, but I'm kind of glad I did, and it's been on my TBR since last December, so there's that. The next book that I read was Sometimes I Lie by Alice Feeney. This is a mystery thriller. This follows Amber and she's in a coma, and it says there are 3 things that you should know about me. 1, I'm in a coma. 2, my husband doesn't love me anymore, and 3, sometimes I lie. I finished this book actually a few days ago and now I'm still thinking about it because the ending just kind of, what the hell. Literally it's called Sometimes I Lie, so there's so many things of like, what should you actually as a reader believe and not believe. There's so many theories. Something about thriller books where they leave you thinking afterwards and not give you like a final answer really just like grinds my gears, because just tell us what happens. Like I'm spending the whole entire book figuring out what happens and you're just gonna like have me come up with my own theory at the end. Very page turner. I wanted to know what happened next. Search up the trigger warnings for this because there was a scene in here where I was just like, she's in a coma but she can hear everything. She can't see, nobody knows that she can hear. Her husband and her sister are visiting her and she becomes very suspicious about both of them. Alice Feeney's writing, and just like I knew that there was going to be a plot twist. That's why I was like suspicious of every single person in this book, even the doctors. I don't know, I didn't know what to believe and I didn't like feeling like that, so I rated this a 3.5 star. There was just so many things of like, did I just read something that was entirely a lie, or was it not a lie? Like, girl, this sometimes she lies, like sometimes she doesn't, I don't know. So there was this, and I really want to read more Alice Feeney books. I want to start reading Frida McFadden books when I'm off my book buying ban. That will happen. The last book that I read was Arsonic and Adobo, which is a cozy mystery. I picked up this book because I'm Filipino. I thought that this was very interesting. The whole entire series actually deals with cozy mystery and the Filipino restaurant. So this follows Lila, and she's going through a breakup. She's coming home from college back to her town, and she's going to the family Filipino restaurant, and she runs into her ex-boyfriend who's actually a food critic. He was eating at the restaurant. Somehow, some way, he dies. Detectives are trying to figure out, was he poisoned? Did he just die of natural causes? What happened? Lila takes it in her own hands to solve it herself. I rated this a 2.5 star. Like, she could have just, like, I know it's for the storyline, but really this girl could have just butted out and let the detectives solve it. But it was also at the same time very comforting to read. Filipino words, all the family members, and the food. I don't think I'm gonna finish the rest of the series. I liked the vibes of it. It was good vibes and it was very comforting to read. There's that. These are all the 7 and 1 book that I DNF'd in October. It's a pretty okay month. I think I had like maybe 2 or 3 books that I really enjoyed. That's a lie, maybe like 2. We'll see how November goes. November is kind of just a finishing my TBR of books that I've had for a really long time month. Like, I want to do a video where I read the books that I've been avoiding, which are books that have been on my TBR for over a year now. I don't know, I'm kind of like hesitant to do it because I want to have a good reading month. Kind of already putting negative reviews on those books because I don't hear great things about them, and they're book talk books from like over a year ago. We'll see how that goes. Actually, Magnolia Parks will not be read, by the way. I'm just telling you right now. She's not gonna get read till like next year, and I'm okay with that. There's just no way. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you've read any of these books or if you have more book recommendations that I can put on my TBR for next year. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!